What's going on in your lives? You guys, I feel like you guys know what's going on in mine. What's going on in your lives? Any big events, Christmas, holiday plans, ice skating, I don't know, snowboarding. The Game Awards is streamed on YouTube for sure. I don't know. I know it's streamed on YouTube. Maybe I don't know where it's streamed, to be honest. To be quite honest, I'm not sure. Finals. Oh man. Exams. I like school, but I hated exams. I don't think anyone in their right mind would have liked exams ever. However, I did like the vibe of everyone in the library. Like, I like looking around or waking up really early, getting my coffee, getting all my materials, and then like laying down my books, and then the act of studying was okay. Well, I liked getting something. Like, I'm stressed about, okay, I really need to learn these topics for the exam, and then boom, oh, I get it. Loved that. Feeling confident for the test. Hated the nerves of the test being the next day and like the potential of sleeping in or whatever. I hated all of that. Taking the test, once you know it, is a great feeling. When you look at the exam, I flip through the pages. I'm like, I know it. I don't. Oh, frick. Okay, I'll do that one last. I know. Okay, start. Evan. And I just go, and I'm like a little anxious about that one problem I don't know, but I do it at the end in case anyway I run out of time. Or when you get like a really whack answer. Like, your answers are supposed to be super clean, and you get like something to the negative 24th power. Like, and with some weird units that don't make sense, and you're like, these were supposed to cancel out. Whatever, circle it, get as close, show as much work so it looks like I'm gonna get as close to the as many points as possible. You know it's so wrong. All that stuff. I missed it. I mean, I missed some of it. But at the end of the day, it does not really matter. Like, I've been through all the exams. I've failed exams. I've slept through exams. Well, like, I woke up when the exam, like 6 minutes into an exam, 9:36. I still remember my class started at 9:30, and I woke up, I was freaking out about this chem exam. I woke up at 9:36 for it. And I literally was so panicked for the next 20-30 minutes of my life, getting to class in my pajamas, driving. I was in a blind panic. I ended up still like doing okay on the test. Weirdly enough, I got there, I sat down, I had like 10 minutes to take my test. I did as many as I could. I was so sad. I turned it in. I was just it was a horrible day. Just like not having enough time to do the questions. And it is what it is. Like, I remember even going to my professor. I was like, I woke up late. Can I have extra time? He's like, no, I'm sorry. You should have just woken up on time. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Did the test. Anyway, still got like a B or B minus or something on it because of the curve. Like, the one thing I miss about college, like, was great in college, is that like everyone else was just, you're graded on a curve. So the mean, like the average is just, now that's like a B minus, C plus. So if you just do better than your classmates, and you get like an easy B plus, A minus. So it's super easy to get like B pluses, A minuses, because you'd be surprised how many people just don't do that well on the test. So if that's why everyone's like, how did you feel about the test? Everyone's like, it was so hard. Oh my God, it was so hard. And sometimes those people are honest. Like, a lot of times you get the students who are like, oh my God, it was so hard. And then you look at their test, they miss one problem. You're like, you're so annoying. You're annoying. But the people who are like, you know, it was actually hard and I failed, and then they get it back and like, yeah, you missed half the test, but so did everyone else. Felt good. And then anyway, so I kind of do miss like exams a bit, in terms of like, it's like, that's what you're it's kind of like that point in life. You go through it. Everyone around you is taking finals. You're bonding over your school trauma, and it sucks and whatever. Everyone's stressed out at the same time. Okay. And then when you get out of school, the real life is different in a way that it's like, oh shoot, I'm like out of college. There's no one to tell me exactly where I need to be, what to do. It's like me go find job, apply. I tried to apply for everything I could. Me and Mia talked about this. We both applied to work at Starbucks and didn't even get like an interview. I remember just wanting to work anywhere. I just needed money. I was like, ugh. So I just applied for Starbucks, and I said I'd wake up at 6. I'd take a 6 a.m. shift every day. I didn't care. I was like, I will work at 6 a.m. I just sign me up. I'll work at Starbucks. And I tried to get a job there, and they wouldn't even give me an interview. I was like, what? I was like waiting, checking my email. I applied to work at like Apple. I wanted to like work at the front. I don't know why. I just wanted to like welcome people in. Hi, welcome to Apple. I don't even know. I applied to work at like, where the heck? Every like, I worked at an animal hospital. I worked at that one I actually did. Then I ended up being, I started working at this website. It was a website called Varsity Tutors. And then Varsity Tutors, I got really mad because like it was like pretty much you just sign up and like you have, I don't remember if there was an interview process, but it's like a website. I think anyone can really do it. And you get like, I think like I got paid like 10 to 12 an hour. And so I would go to people's houses or do calls with students. And I remember teaching this one girl. So one of them was like, her name was Sarah. She was like out in Newport Beach, and I drove to her house, and she just could not understand anything. Like not even calling her dumb. Like I just could not explain something more straightforward. I remember y equals mx plus b. Trying to get her to understand the slope intercept stuff was so frustrating because it was the simplest thing I just said. It was like, how much simpler can I break this down? And she's like, I don't get it. And I'm like, okay, how can I make this simpler? And like, I just couldn't do it. And I'm like, oh my God, I just can't, you know? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. She's like, I have to go to water polo. And I'm like, okay, go to water polo. We'll fix it next time. We'll learn it. I'm so sorry. Then I had a student named Alex who was 3rd grade, way smarter than me. And she's like, actually, I found a way faster way to do it than you. And I'm like, okay, share with me, Alex. And then she's like, yeah, so you actually did this, this, and this, but you don't need to go through that whole step. I did it like this. And I'm like, why do you even need me as a tutor? And so we just end up racing. I was like, all right, go, homework. She'd be like, I'm done. I'm like, you beat me? Okay, you're smarter than me. She would literally just be smarter than me. And she was in 3rd grade. And so I'd go from Alex to Sarah. And Alex was 3 grades younger than Sarah, learning the same stuff. It blew my mind. And Alex is like, actually this, actually that, and you're not doing this right. And oh my God, I already knew the answer. And I'm like, and I literally just be like to her mom, I'm like, Alex is so smart. Like she's literally like, I don't know. And then Sarah's mom would be like, yeah, so Sarah's not doing well. And like, her grades, and she might get kicked from water polo if she gets a bad grade in math. And can you help us? And like, I'm trying really. And then I had a girl who would just walk away. Like I was tutoring her over the computer she was in Washington. And there's nothing I can do because she's not with me. So we'd be talking, and then she'd be like, start singing. She would go to YouTube, listen to some song from like High School Musical, and she'd start singing while I'm talking. Like I can't hear the song, but she's like clearly listening to the music. And I'm like, hey, you can't listen to music while she's like, and then she'd just get up and leave the room. She'd just leave. And I'm like, and she'd be like, I can't talk to, like, hey, we gotta focus. She'd leave the room, out the door, and then her dad would come in. I'd see her dad like finally come in, bring her in. She'd, hey, and they sit down. I'm like, I don't know what to do when your daughter just walks away. She's singing. She doesn't care what I'm saying. Okay, I get so frustrated. Sometimes I have all 3 of these back to back to back, right? I'd have like, it would be like an hour-long session, 12 to yeah, she would be on Spotify, all right? And that's our segue. Listen to her Spotify rap. No, but seriously, that was like, so then I did that. I remember that was the job. And then okay, so the reason I quit that job was because, oh, 1 second. Sorry, I forgot about my playlist I'm supposed to use. So I forgot. So why I quit the job, right? Okay, let's get this. So then, basically, I get an email from Sarah's mom to Varsity Tutors, CCing me in the email saying, hey, like, I'm just wondering if we can like order more classes for Leslie. Currently, we're paying like $80 an hour or like $60 an hour, something ridiculous. And it was like, I was wondering, it was just like here's my current rate. And I'm like, wait, what? I get paid $10 an hour and you're getting, the company's taking like a massive percentage. And I was like, wait, you're paying $60 for my time and I get $10? So I was like, F this. So I quit. I was like, that's why I dipped, and I just started doing private tutoring. So I would just make 100% of the money. And then I started charging $25 an hour. But then I tutored this one girl named Daisy, who I've told you guys about, and her parents were like cash money's rich. So then from her, I was making like 40 an hour. And I'm like, okay. And then she would give me bonuses. She's like, round up to the nearest 100, 200. Here's Christmas. Take this. I'm like, what? Oh, and then I have this one other student who she's like 35, taking the hardest algebra class of my life. So I would panic studying for her classes because she was so smart. Like the classes were really, really hard. So I was basically doing homework all the time so I could keep up. And then boom, I get to her house and she's like, she's like, she had like tons of plastic surgery. She was like blonde and she was she was like super fabulous. It was super wealthy, or I couldn't tell what the situation was, but the guy that she lived with was like much older. And the house was super, super expensive. And then I think she had like just been like moved there, and she had the most Botox, her lips were like balloons. I remember that. And I was like, oh. And then she one time I was venting to her because she was kind of like older than me. So she was like a mom to me in a way, in certain ways. And then I would help her with homework. And she's like, one day I lost my wallet. And she's like, oh, you lost your wallet? Like, don't even worry. Come with me. And she brings me to her closet. And her closet is like one of those movies where you like, and there's like Christian Louboutins, Gucci bags, Louis Vuitton bags. Boom. I'm like, what? And then she's like, here's all the bags I don't use. And she pulls them back from the thing and she lays down like 4, 5, 6 like Louis Vuitton bags. And she's like, you can take whatever. And I was like, are you kidding? And she's like, yeah. So I took this purple little Louis Vuitton thing and I used it as my actual wallet. And then she's like, take more. Like, I don't use them. Like way back in my closet. And she's like, I was like, okay. So I took this like Gucci bag that was like this big. And then she's like, cool, like whatever. She puts it back and we continue the lesson. I literally just took the bag and I sold it. This one, the red one. She had the whole authenticity thing. I sold it for $400. And I was like, oh my God, I just made so much money. Anyways.